Recorded Books and One Click Digital present No Pity for the Dead, A Mystery of Old San Francisco by Nancy Herriman. Narrated by Stina Nielsen. Chapter 1. San Francisco, June 1867. I'm in it for sure. Dan and his buried treasure. Dang it all. Owen Cassidy glanced over at Dan, the lantern dancing the man's shadow over the cellar wall. He didn't know how long they'd been digging, but they were both down to their sweat-soaked shirt sleeves, and Dan had been cursing under his breath for at least the past quarter hour. Dan Matthews swore again, as another hole revealed only sand and rocks and bits of broken construction rubble that had been used to level the building lot. "Anything there yet, Cassidy?" "Nope," Owen said. Soon. Dan would give up soon, and they could stop and pretend they'd never been looking for gold. It had to be soon. Owen was tired of breathing in the dust they'd stirred up, most of it from the coal heaped in the corner. And his left palm had an ugly blister that was sure to burst. Plus, he was scared Mr. Martin would discover that two of the workers he'd hired to refurbish his offices had been down in the cellar poking around. They'd lose their jobs for sure. Worse still, if Mrs. Davies found out what he was doing, she'd scold the skin plumb off him. And Owen never wanted her mad at him. She was the closest thing to a parent that he had, since his real ones had gone and vanished. "You sure Mr. Martin would bury gold down here?" Owen asked. "I mean, beneath his offices and all." "Where better? His house, where some nosy maid might find it?" Dan replied. "Who'd ever come looking down here? And why do you think he's in an all-fired hurry to have this cellar bricked over when it's been fine as it is for so long, huh? 'Cause he wants his money covered over for safekeeping and none the wiser. That's why." Dan sealed his commentary with a nod. It did make sense. Sorta. And then it happened. If only Owen hadn't shifted to his right and begun a new hole. The sound his shovel made was suddenly very different from the clang of metal on stone. "Dan?" Dan almost fell in his haste to reach Owen's side. "You found it!" he crowed. "It's old Jasper Martin's bag of gold." He dropped to his hands and knees and started clawing at the ground, forgetting about his own shovel in his haste to reach the wealth he was certain they'd found. "What the—" Dan drew back, his face turned the color of a lady's fine handkerchief. "Shit!" he shouted, jumping to his feet. "Why won't he leave me be?" "Who? Dan, what?" Owen asked, trying to get a look past the man's broad shoulders. He couldn't believe what he saw peeking around the peeled-back edge of a length of oilcloth. Owen felt his stomach churn, and he clapped a hand to his mouth, because what he saw sure did look like part of a blackened, rotting arm. "Mrs. Kelly, you must stay off your feet if you do not want this baby to come prematurely." Celia Davies sat down, the cane-seated chair creaking beneath her, and clasped the hand of the woman grimacing on the bed. Marianne Kelly's skin was clammy, and her pulse rapid. In the adjacent room, the Kellys' young daughter bawled, adding to the tension. 14 months since that child had been born, and already another was on the way, more quickly than it should have been. "But I've nobody to help, Mrs. Davies." Marianne pressed her lips together as beads of sweat popped on her upper lip. She'd been experiencing night pains off and on for the past week, and Celia worried for her and the baby. From what Celia's examinations had revealed, the fetus was small and not particularly energetic. An early birth might threaten the child's survival. Worse, it had yet to turn head down. Marianne exhaled as the current pain passed. John leaves early and gets home.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?